The longevity hype. Can you really biohack aging? Welcome, biohackers. Today, we're tackling a question that's been buzzing around wellness circles more than a cup of bulletproof coffee. Can you really biohack aging? You've seen the Instagram reels, read the blogs, maybe even considered dipping your toes, literally, into an icy bath. But do cold plunges, peptides, or NAD+ treatments actually work, or are we buying into some very pricey, very well-marketed hype? Let's dive in, pun totally intended. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's start with the basics. Aging. You know, that little process responsible for wrinkles, slower recovery times, and the sudden urge to compare back pain stories with your friends. Technically, aging is your body waving the white flag as cells get damaged. DNA gets a little frayed, and proteins decide they've had enough of working overtime. The real question is whether we can slow this biological clock or even rewind it. Spoiler alert, science isn't fully on the same page yet, but it has some compelling theories, especially when it comes to biohacks like cold exposure, peptides, and NAD+. The cold plunge. Part Arctic survival training, part Instagram flex. If you've ever seen someone sitting in a tub of ice, looking simultaneously zen and like they regret every decision that led them there, you've already witnessed this popular biohacking method. But why are people willingly freezing their behinds off? Here's the pitch. Cold exposure supposedly reduces inflammation, boosts circulation, improves mood, enhances recovery, and maybe, just maybe, slows aging. Sounds cool, right? Let's break it down. First off, there's actual research backing some of these claims. Studies suggest that cold plunges can trigger something called cold thermogenesis, where your body burns fat to generate heat. Plus, cold exposure stimulates norepinephrine, a hormone and neurotransmitter linked to mood and focus. For biohackers, that's reason enough to hop into an ice bath on purpose. But how about longevity? Advocates say cold plunges activate good stress, forcing your body to adapt and strengthen at a cellular level. This includes jump-starting mitochondrial activity. Think of mitochondria as your cell's tiny power plants. However, keep in mind that while some studies hint at these benefits, others are inconclusive. In short, it's less fountain of youth and more feels good might help. The catch: don't overdo it. Prolonged cold exposure can harm your body, and the benefits largely depend on consistency rather than heroically outlasting ice cubes. So, before you grab an ice bag, ask yourself, do you really want to biohack? Or are you just chasing TikTok likes? Next up, let's talk peptides. These microscopic proteins are getting the biohacking world all kinds of excited. Why? Because they promise to help you recover faster, shed fat, build muscle, and even stay youthful. Think of peptides as your body's backstage crew, quietly signaling cells to do important things, like repair themselves or produce collagen. Sounds promising, but is it all glow and no go? There are tons of peptides, but two big names in the anti-aging game are BPC 157 and growth hormone secretagogues, like ipamorelin. BPC 157, often called the healing peptide, is thought to accelerate wound and gut repair. Growth hormone secretagogues claim to stimulate your pituitary gland to release, you guessed it, growth hormones, which may boost muscle recovery and metabolism. On paper, this sounds like cheating at biology. But here's the catch. While initial studies show potential, most research is still in its infancy or conducted on animals, not humans. What could go wrong? For one, peptides occupy a legal gray area when it comes to FDA approval. Many are sold for research purposes only, which isn't exactly the confidence boost you want when injecting something into your body. Side effects like swelling or hormonal imbalances are also possible, so while peptides aren't snake oil, they're not yet the silver bullet biohackers dream of. NAD+ is the popular kid in the anti-aging class right now, and for good reason. NAD+, short for nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, don't worry, there's no quiz, is a coenzyme found in all living cells that basically keeps the lights on. It helps with things like energy production, DNA repair, and regulating circadian rhythms. Here's the theory. As we age, NAD+ levels naturally decline. This drop is linked to all sorts of unwanted things like higher oxidative stress, slower metabolism, and less repair happening to our DNA. By topping up NAD+, some researchers say we can delay or even reverse aging. The most popular hacks for increasing NAD+ include oral supplements, IV drips, and nasal sprays. Celebrities swear by it, wellness clinics rave about it, but where does the science land? Some early studies show promise. NAD+ precursors like NR, nicotinamide riboside, and NMN, nicotinamide mononucleotide, have been shown to improve cellular health in animals. However, the human evidence is still emerging. And then there's the cost. NAD+4 treatments don't come cheap. Biohackers might argue that you can't put a price on youth, but your wallet might have a different opinion. Also, long-term safety data on chronic supplementation is still MIA. In a nutshell, NAD+ holds exciting potential, but stamping fountain of youth on it is premature. It might boost your energy and health span, but don't pin all your longevity dreams on it just yet. So we've unpacked cold plunges, peptides, and NAD+, but which approach deserves the top spot in your tool belt or your budget? Cold plunges, best for overall wellness and that sweet dopamine rush. If you want something cheap, accessible, and Instagram-ready, this might be your move. Peptides, a more advanced biohack. These could work wonders for recovery or performance, but the jury is still out when it comes to longevity. NAD+ treatments, promising science, but be ready to pay for it, literally and figuratively. Great if you've got money to burn and want to get ahead of what could, eventually, be a game changer. Ultimately, all three methods might have their place in your biohacking toolkit, but none are magic bullets. Now let's zoom out for a minute. While trendy hacks are fun and, let's face it, pretty shiny, the true OGs of longevity are ridiculously simple and probably not what you want to hear. Regular exercise, eating well, sleeping enough, managing stress, and staying socially connected are far more effective than most of the enhancements we've covered. Here's a wild idea. Why not pair proven practices with more experimental biohacks? Think of it as covering your bases. After all, you wouldn't sink your entire retirement fund into crypto, would you? Same principle applies here. Balance is key. Before we wrap this up, let's talk about stacking. Biohackers love stacking, combining multiple practices to amplify results. Want to live your best and longest life? Start with a strong foundation of health habits, then add a layer of experimentation. For example, start your day with sunlight exposure for circadian rhythm health. Follow it with a cold plunge to wake up your body and brain. Incorporate peptides or NAD+ treatments if you've vetted them and can afford the investment. Remember, health is about playing the long game, not swinging for instant wins, so stack wisely. Now a quick PSA before you dunk yourself into ice water, inject peptides, or book a $1,000 NAD+ IV session. Longevity does have its limits. There's only so much we can control biologically, and over-focusing on extreme anti-aging strategies might not bring you happiness or the results you expect. Life wasn't meant to be spent obsessing over biohacks. It's about living fully in whatever time you have. So, can you biohack aging? The answer, yes, sort of. Practices like cold plunges, peptides, and NAD+ treatments show promise when used responsibly, but none are guaranteed to turn back your biological clock. If anything, they're tools, not shortcuts. At the end of the day, longevity isn't just about living longer. It's about living better. Whether that means freezing in an ice bath or stacking staple habits with experimental tweaks, the choice is yours. Now go forth, biohackers. Stay curious, stay cautious, and maybe stop refrigerating yourself for TikTok likes. Let me leave you with this. Every hack is a hypothesis, so enjoy the experiment. But don't forget the basics. Laugh a little, sleep a lot, and keep those mitochondria happy. That's the real longevity hack. Thanks for joining this icy, peptide-filled NAD+ charge journey. If you found this helpful, or just mildly entertaining, hit like, comment, and share this video with your favorite biohacker in the making. And remember, the only way to truly slow time is, well, there isn't one, so enjoy what you've got. Catch you in the next one.